Out of the room.
Yeah, he got all the fucking charm and the talent. But I get the girls. No, I don't. Okay, so where were we?
We were talking about the Descendents.
Yeah, the Descendents.
And what they mean to you, or what they mean in rock and roll history, or anything about the Descendents.
Man, I think, I have to, I agree with what Eric said, that, I think any, pop punk or emo band or whatever they're being called this week, whether they actually know it or not, owe a fucking huge debt to that band, because they were, as far as I can tell, like, chronologically, they were, the first, or one of the first to, rock like a punk rock band, but also have, these great melodies that, anybody could like. They were, good enough to, if they would have been, like, a little less punk, I'm sure they would have had just fucking enormous hits, and they'd all be retired and live in mansions in California and be sitting by a pool with 80 girls and a lot cooler people than me would be talking about them.
Talk again about your listening experience and things with the Descendents and you growing up and listening to rock and roll.
Right. Well, unfortunately, my listening experience with them is not nearly what it should have been. I think they're awesome, and I really like a lot of their stuff. But the first thing I heard by them was, in high school. My girlfriend at the time made me a compilation tape, and it had their cover of Windy on it, because she knew that I liked the Beach Boys. But at that point, I was more into, Black Flag and Fear and Slayer and Ministry and shit like that, and so it didn't really do a lot for me at the time, because I didn't think they weren't angry enough, and then I heard them off and on, and then I think the point in my musical listening progression, whatever you want to call it, that I should have gone out and bought all of their records and sat and studied their music. I didn't, and now I'm a fucking old bitch, and I listen to old man music like Fleetwood Mac and Super Furry Animals and other old men. So their energy scares me.
Anything else you'd like to say? Descendants related?
I concur with fucking Malene that Bill Stevenson is a total badass. I first heard him obviously on like Black Flag Records, and I saw the Descendents in I think it was '97. It was when they'd gotten back together and did Everything Sucks. They played at Liberty Hall, and I went just to pay homage to some obvious fucking musical legends, and I was just blown away. I've seen a ton of bands when they've reunited, and it's never it's never like, it never has the energy that they did. And obviously I never saw the Descendents the first time around, but friends of mine who were there that had seen them the first time around, were blown away. I was like, fuck, man, they're every bit as good as they were, if not better. And I was, blown away that, these guys that, just, like loom large, in my, just in my mind, as far as important bands go, were like, just, up there and, giving it fucking everything they had, and they played really well, and they were super tight, but they weren't too serious. Like, Milo came out and he had this fake hat on that had like had this hat on that had like the fake hair in it, and he looked like this total surfer bum dude. And at first I was like, what's this? I didn't think these guys, that's weird. I didn't think they were like beach bum type dudes. And then, you know, after the first song, he takes it off, and it's like, oh, okay. And, you know, I don't know. I really enjoyed that because, you know, a lot of bands get up there and they're really serious, and they don't move, and they don't talk to the audience, and they don't really try and engage the audience. It's, you know, there's definitely like the separation of the band and the audience, and they, you know, I mean, he talked, you know, it's like there was one point where a couple people up front, you know, there was the big slam pit going on, and, you know, a couple people fell down, and, you know, he's like, hey man, you guys alright? You guys cool? Do you need some water? Do you need, you know, which, you know, I thought was awesome that, you know, he wasn't so, you know, they weren't so wrapped up into what they're doing that they didn't care about anything else, but yet they were so fucking good still. Boy, that's gonna take up your whole fucking movie right there, just that little rambling response.